Hey guys, a long time since I did a repair video. Today we are doing a repair on the hats off to Santa. I got this on Facebook Marketplace a couple weeks ago. I did not expect it to have the box, but it does, which is pretty cool. And the box itself is in pretty decent shape for its age. So I was told that, or from the description, it said that he did everything except for tip his hat up and down, but the only thing it does do is spin the bells, so we'll show you a quick demo quick. Oops, it's in demo mode, ironically. See nothing. So we're going to go ahead and open him up and probably replace a few split gears. I'm assuming that's what the issue is, so yeah. So to get inside his clothing, on the front and back here, it's a little thread. I'm just using a box cutter to cut that off, and then instead of rethreading it through, I'll probably just dab some hot glue from the inner part of the pants to the inner plastic here. Just a little piece to hold them up, nothing major. Okay, so now these little pins holding the hip pieces in here, I'm sure you guys know the routine. It looks like the glue is pretty yellowed and dried, so it should be easy to come off. See how easy it cracks there. Sometimes they do put a little dab of glue over these black things. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Using one of these little picker tools, that's what I was looking for. It's smaller than a screwdriver. I mean, you don't necessarily need one of these either. A regular size screwdriver will work, or like a small size screwdriver, I mean. Get this box out of the way, we don't want to get that dirty or damaged. But these little pickers here, whatever you want to call them, are good for getting into these little pieces right there. Move this lamp a little bit closer so you guys can see. Because then you can get in the little holes right here of the wheel. Just get in there till you pry it off, and if you break it, it's okay. I actually don't ever keep these. Some people do. Sometimes if I don't break them, I will keep it and reuse it, but they're never usually as sturdy or as strong as when they're obviously first on from factory. I always put a dab of hot glue over this, and that usually helps. So it's a little hard to do with one hand since I'm recording with the other. But I'm basically just getting underneath there and prying it upward. Oh, and it just flew to God knows where, so I'll find that sometime when I'm vacuuming. So yeah, instead of obviously using another one of those, I'll just dab hot glue over the pin, and then I use this to push the pin out all the way. I'm not going to push it all the way out yet because I got to get this one off first, but yeah, same process for this one that I did for that one. I know this is one of those tricky hip swingers where the spring is actually glued to the side of the hip bracket but attached to the motor piece here. I don't like those. It makes it more complicated to take apart. So I'm going to take one end of the spring off. Probably going to take it off right here since on the actual side of the body piece, because like the side of the stomach area, because then it'll be easier to hopefully put back on. But yeah, those are always a pain. Okay, so temporarily I have them switched back to demo mode. As you can see, the reason the hips are moving right now, I did not fix it yet, is because it's just a split gear. So with all the added weight and pressure of the top part of the body no longer weighing on it, it is freed up a little bit more. But that gear is split, as you can tell. So I got a replacement one right here that we're going to use. I am down to like my last 10-tooth gear. I just ordered more on Amazon a few hours ago, and I believe I'm going to need one for the arm here. So I think I have some spare used ones that are still good that I'm going to temporarily insert in that. Hopefully it'll still last for a few years then. Anyway, take all this apart. Now that we got that end of the spring off, let's see, it's right there. The belt is fine. So flip him over like such, and then we're going to take out 1, 2, 4 screws, which will free up this mechanism right here. And then we're going to take apart those 1, 2, 3 screws right there to get the access to the gearbox, or that is the gearbox, to get access to the gears inside the gearbox. All right, so I actually didn't even need to take the bottom screws out here. Sometimes you do, sometimes they're tighter and you don't want to crack the plastic, but I didn't even need to take the bottom ones out, just the top ones right here. And take out these 3 screws, like I said, which will lead us to the gearbox. But first, what we're going to have to do is take the rubber belt off and take that spinny knob off. Otherwise, we won't be able to get it apart. So this piece right here, there's some debris in there. So for some reason, take apart the spinny knob, slide it out. The gears split, it'll come out easily. And then we're going to take the rubber belt off, and then we're going to unscrew it. Okay, so I am going to ask you guys if you prefer the repair videos without the cuts and edits and me explaining what I'm doing, or you'd much rather just have this point of view where you just see me doing what I'm doing, then please comment down below and let me know. I've made lots of repair videos on this channel and on my TikToks, and I feel like I always do them differently somehow, some way. Not on purpose, just however I go about recording that day, I guess. So the reason I'm having trouble getting this cut open here is because there's some excess glue right here, as you can see. Hold that wire there, and like I said, luckily this glue is old and brittle, so it doesn't take much to peel that off. Throw that up there. All right, and there's the gear. So it is split, as you can see. It's at the bottom of the, just sitting down there. Go ahead and take that out. That was our culprit. That there for now. And let me insert the new gear. You get it out of the bag. There we go. All right. So now, to do it this way, we have to put that pulley back in, just the way we took it out. So insert it through the outside, going onto the inside. This gear just fell out. We'll slide it back in. And sometimes it's a pain when the gears fall out. All right, this is always the tricky part, is getting a brand new gear onto the shaft itself, because well, it's a brand new gear, it's a very tight squeeze, and that's what causes them to split over time. So instead of you guys, oh, I almost lost it. Instead of you guys watching the process of me getting this gear on here, I'm going to go ahead and skip to when it's done. All right, it's back in. I just gotta finish inserting the screws. We'll speed this process up with an electric screwdriver. We got one more to go on the top right there. Okay. Motor's running, so now we'll put the rubber belt back on. See if we get any movement from this spinny knob. And the reason we're not getting much movement from there actually is because the belt is loose. See, it's not pulling it with it. Could also be that gear is a little too tight, that new one I've attached. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, push that up just a little bit, see if that helps. Because the belt doesn't look like it's that bad. I think that new gear might have just been tight. Yep. Yeah, sometimes if you push the gear too far against the plastic, it won't go. So I thought maybe the belt was bad, but no, that belt was good the more I looked at it. All right, so now we'll put the hip mechanism back together. Great. So now I'm not going to put the whole body back on yet because now I got to fix the hat tipping mech. So now to do that, it's going to be just like how we took the hips off with those pins right there. Just some up here in the shoulders. One whole pin right there. Two separate pins on this side. Or maybe that is one whole pin. It looks like it's two separate ones. I can't tell. We'll find out though. But yeah. Here's the thing. Oh, by the way, they were two separate pins. There's the pin for the other side. I hate fixing hat tipping mechanisms. They're just a pain to get into. But we got those pieces off, and now there's a screw in the back of his head we got to take off because that's where the mechanism actually is inside the head. I don't believe there's one in front. Set of staples up front, which is, you know, nice and even more difficult, so lucky me for that. But to take the staples out, I can use my tool that I mentioned here earlier. This picker, very easy to get into there, press into them and pull out. And then to put the head back on, I think just the one screw in the back should be enough. If not, I will add an additional screw in the front here. Just a reminder, guys, please be careful when doing this. I was using this picker tool I'd mentioned about 100 times in this video so far to get the one staple out, and I wasn't watching where my finger was, and I hit my finger. Luckily, it wasn't like a big stab wound or anything. It was just a little teeny tiny cut, so I put a band-aid on under my glove there. But yeah, just be careful with that. So one staple right there. Pull that out. Like I said, I'm not gonna keep these and reuse them. I'm gonna throw them out. If the one screw to put the head back on isn't enough, I will add an additional screw through there. Yeah, that was absolutely not easy getting the head off. It was extremely tight squeeze. At one point I had to use these pliers, whatever you want to call them. They're one of those ones that lock in place. There's an official term for those. I can't think of it right now, but it's more so a wrench. But yeah, I had to use that to like dig in there and pry it. It was a whole thing. But finally got it off. The belt is like super loose and not even on there. If that is the issue, great, but while I'm already in here, I'm going to replace the gear because, like I said, it's not a good time taking the head off of this. Well, yes, not only is the gear bad, but the belt is also really bad. It's like dry rotted almost, so it's going to need a new belt and a new gear. All right, and now this is why also, like I said, these hat mechanisms suck. There's a lot to take apart. We got to take apart these 4 screws here to get the whole mechanism itself out, just so we can get the mechanism apart to replace the gear. So start doing that. I don't think that one's going to work bad. I have to use a bigger one. Yeah. So the gear for the hat mechanism is actually an 8-tooth gear, which I assumed it would be a 10. But that's all right. I have a couple of 9-tooth gears here I'm going to use instead. Not the exact same size. It's one extra tooth, but it will work. It will do. So I'd like to show you guys what I was talking about earlier. If the gear's too tight, not tight around the shaft, but tight against this plastic here. As you see, it's pushed a little too far back, and this is having trouble turning. So all I'm going to do is do what I did before with the hips and just try to pry this up a little bit with a flathead. Not a lot, just about, you know, like a centimeter. And that'll give it some more space to move freely. Okay, all those time lapses you just saw were me putting the whole thing back together. You saw me take it apart, so I felt like just a quick time lapse putting it back together is fine, especially since it's very tedious to reassemble this mechanism. So as you saw, I put the pins back in. There's 2 separate pins for the hat tilting side and then 1 whole pin for the bell spinning side. Put the dab of hot glue over that, since like I said, those pieces don't really work as well once you break them off, and honestly I don't know where they went because when I flung it, it went flying. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy back together, and he should be good to go. Okay, so I kid you not, I ended that clip probably 2 hours ago because everything just kept going wrong. This is one of the worst repairs I've ever done just because of how everything kept going wrong. It's a stupid design for the up and down arm, the hat mechanism arm in the head there, because every time I attached the head, it would just rip the capacitors off the motor. So I had repeated that process about 3 or 4 times till finally I kind of gave up. So then, well, the reason I gave up is because the very last time I was trying to put the head on without ripping a capacitor off, the plastic in here must have been brittle and the mechanism completely broke out of the shoulder piece. Wasn't even using that much force. Luckily, I had a snowflake spinning snowman that the sound on was fried. I probably could have replaced the sound chip, but it was getting hot and started smoking and I didn't want to really mess with it, so I kind of just decided to use it for parts rather than replacing the sound chip, or not the sound chip, the audio amplifier is what I mean. But like I said, with it getting hot and smoking, I really didn't want to mess around with that. It also could have been like a capacitor or a resistor or something on it that was bad, and I just decided to use it for parts. Then during that process, the bells stopped lighting up because one of the wires came off, and no matter how many times I tried to reattach it, I could not get them to work again, so the bells no longer light up. And then the plastic cracked right here for the spinning arm, because again, I guess the plastic was fragile. Then finally, as soon as I put it all back together, the gear started to split in the spinning arm. So I did not go back in. I did not replace the gear. I want to be completely done with this thing. I'm putting it in the box and it's going directly in the storage unit. I do not want to see it till next Christmas. Then maybe I'll replace the split gear in the bell spinning arm. With that being said, I'm going to show you guys him. It annoyed me a lot. It was a very frustrating process, and it shouldn't have been. It's just one of those things where sometimes you do repairs and everything keeps going wrong. It happens sometimes. That being said, here he is. So yes, while it's definitely better than what it was before. It doesn't bother me too much that the bells don't light up, because you kind of barely notice the lights anyway. It is a cool feature, but it doesn't bother me that much. As you can see, the gear is starting to split for the spinning arm, so sometimes his spinning is intermittent and whatnot. But yeah, it's just one of those repairs where everything kept going wrong with it, and I'm just glad that it's done. So thank you guys for watching.